Hi everybody, and welcome to Advanced Ideas presentation of Neuro-Linguistic Programming. Congratulations on taking a course that is truly going to transform your life. My name is Professor Paul. Here's a picture of my lovely wife and my pal and lifetime friend, JJ. I'll be your guide today. I've been a therapist for over 35 years. I'm a professional and national and international speaker on topics of therapy, health, wealth, happiness, everything psychology. I basically do the checkup from the neck up. We've got a fantastic program for you today. If you use these tools, if you use these techniques, they will be positively transformational and you'll be able to utilize them to transform virtually any area of your life. So let's get started. Neuro-linguistic programming, they always abbreviated as NLP. Neuro-linguistic programming was developed in a partnership between Richard Bandler and John Grinder. Now this was in the early 70s. Originally it was a study on how were excellent psychotherapists getting these amazing results that they were getting. And as they looked at how they were doing it, they developed a whole system of how to look at modeling, which is basically copying the system that another person uses. And there's a lot more techniques to it than that, but that was the original model. How do you take a great therapist and multiply it? How is it that the greats in psychotherapy were so great? Looking at the how and then at the why, they were able to narrow these features down and put them into a system, a formula that virtually anybody could duplicate. So who were some of these greats? Well, they looked at people like Virginia Satir, Fritz Perls of Gestalt therapy, Milton Erickson, just to name a few. So the core of neuro-linguistic programming truly is the modeling of excellence. How do you take a skill, a technique, a strategy, even a way of being in the world, literally duplicating somebody's personality, their craft, and being able to understand that program and then program yourself to do the same thing so that you can gain those skills rapidly. Now here's a cute picture of me. Basically I've cloned myself. This is the modeling of excellence. How do I take Paul and duplicate him over and over and over again? Now one way I'm doing that is I'm teaching you the skills that I have. So that's a form of programming, teaching. But we're going to look at neuro-linguistic programming and how we use that system so that you can gain my skills or anybody's skills by understanding how they do the things they do, why they do the things they do, understand this meta model of how they think, being able to duplicate it, and bang, you can have those skills quickly, rapidly, and powerfully. So let's look at what neuro-linguistic programming is by breaking down each component, the neuro, the linguistic, and the programming. Neuro, this is from the neck up, is literally how we think and how our thinking creates results. Different people think about the same thing different ways, and therefore they get different results. So it's not the reality that changes, which is the next thing, how our thoughts affect our perceptions. You know, they say it's 10% what's out there and 90% how you take it. Absolutely, positively true. Now, it's also how we code our experiences in our mind. Literally the system by which we take things that happen to us and download them into our brain. They're done in a very specific way, and we'll talk more about that. But this is basically the neuro piece. Let's move on and let's look at the linguistic piece. What is linguistics? Linguistic is a big fancy term, I think it's from the Greek, that basically means language. Okay? So the linguistic part is understanding how our mind uses language, which is different from just how we use language. How language affects effectiveness, how well we do as we do a task, and how it affects our emotions, how we feel. And there are tools of verbal and even nonverbal communication which are considered linguistic. More on that later. Programming. So we want to understand exactly how we're programmed so we can begin reprogramming ourselves. So literally we're going to be able to take any programs that we have, deprogram the negative things that we don't want, and install positive, fresh programs that we do want. We're going to utilize programming to gain excellence. So we're going to look at ways that people have developed excellence in their life. We're going to break them down to a program and install them in our own minds. One of the great ways we're going to do that we talked about was modeling. People know what role modeling is, so this is a far more sophisticated version of that. And then process and sequencing is really huge. You know, it's like a linguistic version of that would be the dog bit Johnny. Johnny bit the dog. Two totally different things based on the way you sequence them. So sequencing is huge in neurolinguistic programming.